every felter has the luxury of having a large studio. When I first started felting, this is where I work, in my kitchen. And working in a small area is definitely challenging. So to begin with, I have my scarf and I have my bubble wrap. So here's the bubble wrap. The bubbles are facing up. I have my thin plastic and I have my length of scarf. So you can see that I have a lot more scarf than I do table to work on. So it's challenging, but it can be done. Alright, so this is a piece of silk that I have mono printed. That's a really fun way of getting dye on a piece of fabric, and I may do a video about that at another time. But for now, this is the design that I'm working with. So, basically, I will be laying my wool. Of course, for this demonstration video, I'm not really going to be laying all the wool. So, let's just say, here we go. I'm laying out my wool. You know, every felter has their own techniques of how they lay the wool. And I'm just going to show you a small sample. Okay, now I would be covering the entire scarf with my wool and my embellishments all the way up to here. And then I'm going to cover it with plastic. Now, one of the tricky parts is, if you're like me and have a short memory, by the time I get to the other end of the scarf, if it's covered up and rolled up, I have forgotten what one end looks like. So, there are a couple ways you can get around that. One, you can make a drawing of your design. So you will remember that at this end you laid a stripe of green, and then you laid a stripe of red, and then maybe you put some yarn. You'd write that down. So by the time that you got to the other end, you could refer to your drawing as to how you embellished. You could take a picture and refer to it either on the camera or the computer, or you can feel good about buying an iPad. And this really made a big difference, because when I was laying out pieces, and just as I said, I didn't remember what I did from one side, you know, if I'm doing a garment, how I laid out the decorations on the front versus the back, and I had it on my iPad. I didn't have to come into the house and look on the computer. I didn't have to struggle with seeing on the camera. So it's really cool. Just give yourself permission to buy an iPad, if you can. Okay, so as I said, pretending I have now covered up to here in my wool decorations, I'm going to wet it out. And then I'm going to cover it with another piece of plastic. So you want to have your other piece of plastic already rolled up on your short noodle to make things easier. So I'm going to lay the other piece of plastic and roll it out. Now at this point you want to make sure you get all the air out, so you're getting a tight, snug fit between the plastic and the wool. And one little trick to that is a little soapy water on the top, and your hands slide easier. You don't want to just smear it like that, because you would conceivably move your wool fibers. So you want to pat it down and then get the air out. Okay, then you take your other short noodle and you roll it up. Now you see, you can get more scarf on the table, and you would continue to lay your wool just as before. Let's just again pretend that I have laid out all my shingles however I want to do that. I continue to cover it with the plastic after I've wet it all out. And roll it up in the bubble wrap. And you see, I'm still not done. So, more wool. Continuing to finish laying my wool, adding my embellishments, however I intend to do the scarf. Wet it out, put the plastic on. And I would begin the rolling. Now, again, every felter has their own method for keeping track of how many rolls. I just do a clock thing, so I roll for about 10 minutes. I can't count, I can't keep track of it. So, you know, in doing a Nuno felted piece or felted piece, you want to be rolling in all four directions. So, this would be one direction, and let's just say now I have finished my rolling. And now it's time to check it. Now this gets a little tricky, but you do the best you can. So I'm unrolling it, and now I want to check this part. So, you know, carefully peel back that top layer of plastic. And you're checking the scarf now. So you're checking for moisture and enough soap. You want to make sure that your fibers haven't moved. I'm going to cover it back up. And roll. And now I will expose the part that I haven't looked at. Again, I peel back the plastic, and now I can check the other side for the same thing, water, moisture, and my fibers, and then cover it back up. Now, at this point, to be very honest, I don't remember which end I started from. So, you need to be aware of that. Everybody has their own system for remembering. I'm going to be doing my second rolling, and ideally from the opposite end that I did last time. So, there I go, 10 minutes. And again, I would be checking it in the same way that I did. All right, so, but now we have to roll the long way.